everyone, welcome back. It's great to have you here today. Today we'll be doing some stats revision. Please get your pen and paper ready and work through these questions with me. Okay, so now let's get started. We are talking about data. There are two main types of data. One is discrete, the other one is continuous. In discrete data, we are going to talk about scatter diagrams. We will be talking about correlations. We will talk about measure of spread, measure of central tendency, for example, mean, median, mode, lower quartile, upper quartile, interquartile range, and range. For continuous data, we are going to talk about frequency polygon, cumulative frequency. We will be looking at how to estimate lower quartile, upper quartile, and median. We will also be looking at box plot. We will also be looking at how to draw histogram. For example, we will talk about frequency density, interpolate lower quartile, upper quartile, and median. In this scatter diagram, first question, it wants us to describe the correlation. There are 5 main types of correlation. We can describe it as strong positive, weak negative, strong negative, and no correlation. In this case, we can see it's going to be a strong positive correlation. It's because all the points are very close to a straight line. Now, in second part, it wants us to use a line of best fit to estimate the number of tests needed to pass by a person who has 50 lessons. So let's go to 50 lessons and go to the line of best fit. We can estimate that it's 3.8 tests needed to pass. The last one, I can use the trend to predict the number of driving tests needed to pass for any number of driving lessons. Now we want to comment on this statement. Estimate outside of the range of the data given is not a good idea because we are extrapolating. It's unreliable. We don't know anything outside of the range of the data given. Okay, so now let's look at measures of spread and measures of central tendency. If I have 5 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to work out the mean, normally we'll see this symbol x bar. We add all the data together, divide by the number of data. Mode is the most frequent data. In this case, there isn't a mode because all of the data appeared once. Median is the middle number after we arrange the data from the smallest to the largest, or the largest to the smallest. If there is an even number of data, we will find the average of the middle two numbers. For example, the average of 3 and 4. Lower quartile is the median of the lower half. If I have 6 data, the median is the middle number 3.5. The lower half of this set of data is 1, 2, 3. The median of these 3 numbers is 2. Similarly, upper quartile is the median of the upper half. So the upper quartile is going to be 5 in this case. If there is an odd number of data, for example 1 to 7, the median is 4. We are excluding this number, and then to look at the lower half is 1, 2, and 3. The lower quartile is going to be 2, and the upper quartile is going to be 6. If I have 9 numbers, the median is the middle number, which is 5. To work out the lower quartile, I will look at number 1 to 4 and find the average of the middle 2 numbers, which is 2 and 3. Similarly, for the upper quartile, I will need to do the average of 7 and 8. Okay, so now let's look at the continuous data. The first one we want to look at is frequency polygon. To draw a frequency polygon for this set of data, what we need to do is to first find the midpoint of each class. So 15 for the first one, 25 for the second one, etc. And what we need to do is to plot the midpoint and the frequency. So the first point is going to be 15, 5. The second one is going to be 25, 9. The third one is going to be 35, 16. And then 45, 34, 55, 28, 65, 19. Once we've got all the points, what we need to do is to join them together using a straight line. Okay, so this is called a frequency polygon. Midpoint and its frequency. Now moving on to cumulative frequency. This is slightly different to the previous one. To draw a cumulative frequency graph, what we need to do is to work out the cumulative frequency. That means up to 50 miles, what is its frequency? So we have 6 for the first one, and then the next one is between 40 to 60 because we are accumulating the frequency. So that's 6 plus 16, which is 22. And then we do 6 plus 16 plus 28, which is 50, and then 60 for the last one. Now in this case, because it's cumulative frequency, so we know that there are 6 cars that is up to 50 miles per gallon for the first one, we are going to plot 56. For the second one, so up to 60 miles per gallon, there are 22 cars, so 60, 22. 70 is going to be 50, and then finally 80 is going to be 60. So what we are going to do is to join those together using a smooth curve. Okay, so how are we going to use this cumulative frequency to estimate the median, the lower quartile, and the upper quartile? There are 60 cars in total. To find the median, we need to find the middle number, which is 30, and then we will read off its x-axis, which is the median. To find the lower quartile, we need to find the median of the first 30 data, which is 15, and this is our lower quartile. Similarly, 45 is going to be our upper quartile. In order to find the interquartile range, what we need to do is to find the difference between the upper quartile and the lower quartile. From the cumulative frequency, we can draw a box plot. These two lines tells us the minimum and maximum value of this set of data, and then we have our lower quartile, upper quartile, and median. So what we have here, this is our lower quartile, this is our median, and this is our upper quartile. Okay, so now moving on to histogram. Here is some information about the ages of people at a concert, and we are going to draw a histogram to represent the information. In order to draw a histogram, what we need is to work out the class width. So the class width for the first class is 5. 15 take away 10. The second one is 10. The third one is 15. And then the last one is 30. And on the y-axis, it's frequency density. In order to work out frequency density, we need to do frequency divided by class width. So in this case, 8 divided by 5 is 1.6. 24 divided by 10 is 2.4. 30 divided by 15 is 2. 39 divided by 30 is 1.3. So what we need to do is, first we are going to find the frequency density, which is 1.6. And we know the class width is 5 between 10 to 15. The next class width is 10 and the frequency density is 2.4. Similarly, class width of 15, frequency density is 2. And then finally, class width is 30, frequency density is 13. So this is the histogram. So what we are going to do now is to estimate the median, the lower quartile, and the upper quartile. So the total frequency is 101 by doing 8 plus 24 plus 30 plus 39. The median is the middle number, which is 101 divided by 2, which is 50.5th number. So 15.5th number, as we can see, is in the third class because 8 plus 24 is 32. So we need the 18.5th data from that 30 data in the third class. So we need 18.5 over 30 of this 15 class widths. So we are 9.25 into this class, which is around 34.25. Therefore, 34.25 is the estimated median. Now let's look at the lower quartile. The lower quartile is the first quarter of the data, which is 25.25 of data. Now as we can see, it's going to be into the second class. It's going to be 17.25 in the second class. So what we need to do is we want the 17.25 out of this 24 data, and then for the class width it's 10, so we are 7.1875 into the class. After adding the lower bound, we'll be able to estimate the lower quartile, which is 22.1875. Okay, similarly, if we want to work out the upper quartile, which is the 3/4 of the total frequency, that is 75.75. Now, as we can see, this is going to be in the final class. It's 13.75 of data in that 39 data. So what we have here is to work out how far we are going into this class, which is 10.58, and add the lower bound, we'll be able to estimate the upper quartile, which is 50.58. Okay, that is it for today. Well done for making it through to the end, especially if you have done the questions yourself. Remember, maths isn't a spectator sport, and we have to keep practicing to be more fluent. Happy revising, and I'll see you in the next video.